Hello all and welcome, and I'm MGTOW philosopher. And I was searching online for stories about crazy feminist broads who were deluding themselves about why they couldn't find a man. And sure enough, I came across the perfect example of such a story. Is this Britain's unluckiest dater? Single woman has spent £30,000 over a 4-year period looking for love, but refused to give up and blames living in Ramsgate as it's too far for suitors. Isn't this always the way things end up being with feminists? You know, they're so relativistic and everything's open to interpretation. And, you know, reality is just their emotions and their feelings. I mean, they can't find someone. Well, they want to feel like it's not their fault, of course. Has nothing to do with them. Oh, no. They just live in the wrong place. So those men are just too superficial, or there's just something wrong with them. There's never a problem with me. Jeanette Baker from Ramsgate has been looking for Mr. Right. Well, did she ever stop to think that for some women there is no Mr. Right? There's just Mr. Whoever the hell you can get and be happy you can get somebody, even after 2 failed marriages. Well, there's a red flag right there. The woman has had 2 failed marriages. I mean, that should tell you something right there, okay? And several relationships. She is still searching. She spent thousands on clothes. You got to suspect when people spend that much money on what is essentially just wrapping paper to try and make a package look better, you know there's something wrong with what's underneath. Travel and dating apps over 4 years. Jeanette made an appeal for a suitable man on that. When you're this desperate, you got to realize there's something wrong with you. I mean, when you're having this hard a time giving away pussy, you've got some problems. And as you're going to see when we see her picture and hear her talk, oh boy, does she have problems, big time. She went on TV to appeal to men to date her. I'm so wonderful. Please date me. Please date me. I love it. This story is so fucking hilarious. Hilarious. And here we go with the story. A single woman believes she is the unluckiest dater. Why is it always luck? I don't believe in luck, okay? You make your own luck. If these don't go well for you, it's not because you have bad luck. It's because you made the wrong decisions, or there's something wrong with you, okay? Unluckiest dater in Britain after claiming to have spent £30,000 over 4 years on her search for love. That's like, what, £7,500 a year? That's quite a bit of money. Jeanette Baker from Ramsgate is determined to find Mr. Right, despite spending thousands on clothes, travel, and dating apps during a quest for the one. The one what? She sounds like an idiot. The one, there is no one, okay? You find somebody that fits you, that makes you, it doesn't drive you nuts and that you can tolerate. That's about it. That's the most you can hope for. And if you're a woman, the most you can hope for is that he makes decent money and that he's going to stick around. But she's had 2 failed marriages. Clearly something's not right with this broad, and she's still looking for a guy. If I had 2 failed marriages and many failed relationships, I would give up. I would just get some cats and be happy with my fucking ice cream and, you know, my high-fat yogurt and my full-fat 4% milk and as much food as I could eat and just become a blob, because really there's no hope for somebody like this. Just give up, lady! Give up! Claiming she can offer spontaneous fun. What does that mean, sex? Well, what do you bring to the table sexually, honey? You better be hot. A confident Jeanette, oh boy. Well, you know she's a fat slob then. Anytime a woman is confident, she's a big fat pig. You ever notice that? Hot-looking chicks are very insecure. That's why they're hot-looking. They work their asses off to stay good-looking because they're insecure. But fat broads, they don't care about how they look because they're so confident. They don't feel they need to do anything to improve themselves. They're just fine the way they are. A confident Jeanette said, "You've got to put yourself out there. Sorry for the phrase, but you have to be in it to win it." What the fuck does that mean? That you've put yourself out there and nobody was, there were no takers? You couldn't even give it away? Well, I bet she's tried, but she's got standards that are far too high. And wait till you see this broad. When you see this broad, you're going to be like, what? Lady, you should be settling for a trucker, a taxi driver, a street sweeping guy, a guy that collects garbage, a guy that pumps gas. You should settle for anything you can get. Still sure that she will bag herself a man. Well, you've already bagged 2, honey, and you've lost 2. I mean, you're looking to lose number 3? Despite the increasing costs, Jeanette told presenters Eamon Holmes and Ruth Langsford why she believes she had so far been unlucky in love. Oh, let's hear this. I think it's where I live. She's delusional. She's delusional. This is what I'm always talking about women. They're so lacking in self-awareness. She doesn't even know the problem is her. If you've been married twice, if you've had any number of failed relationships, it was made clear that she's had many more failed relationships outside of the 2 marriages she has had. Well, what's the common denominator there? You? Yes, in Ramsgate by the Sea, which I think is lovely. A lot of people think it's too far to travel. That's what they tell you, okay? Britain's not that big a country. Trust me, honey, if your pussy was good and you were good at giving it, they would travel to your ass. Holy shit! It reminds me of that, oh my, Jesus Christ. It's almost like Jabba the Hutt's sister. I mean, look at that face. It looks like somebody smashed her in the face with a fucking frying pan. Jesus Christ, it's just this big, fat, flat, good God, it's hideous. She's hideous. Honey, you are not attractive. That's the problem. You have to be attractive if you want to bag yourself a man. At your age, Jesus Christ, I mean, in truth, at your age, if you want to bag yourself a decent guy, at your age, and she's no spring chicken, look at her. I mean, that hair's been dyed. If it wasn't, I guarantee it would be half white. Look at all those lines. She's got a double chin. She's got a triple chin. Holy crap. And she's got like more crow's feet than I can count from here. And that's a far away picture too. I can imagine what it would look like if we got close up. Fucking map of the Andes Mountains and shit with all the fucking tributaries and rivers and little streams and shit. Lots of fucking lines. Good God. And she thinks she's going to find a man? Honey, you'll find a man if you lower your standards to the point where you're willing to accept, like, I don't know, the guy that like sweeps up the dead animals that get hit by cars. I mean, that guy, this is the guy who, you know, he scrapes them up and then he smells them to see if the rotting corpse, if it's rotting yet, or if it's still good meat, and then he takes it home and butchers it and eats it. That's the guy you're gonna get. Okay? Jeanette added that she was able to remain confident because she knew it wasn't her fault. Oh! This is typical of British women. They are the biggest feminist cunts on the planet Earth. She's convinced it's not her fault. How is she convinced that? Did she indoctrinate herself? She's essentially told herself a bunch of lies. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I just live too far away from civilization. That's all. Nobody wants to travel to me. Nobody wants to travel to me. Yeah, it's not because you're a big fat blob or anything, or a horrible woman, or difficult to live with, or a feminist. Oh, no. Couldn't be that. As she had asked other people their opinions. What other people? Your friends? What do you think your friends are going to tell you? I don't know, Jeanette. I got to be honest with you here, but I think the reason you stingle is because you're a big fat pig. Yeah, I can imagine your friends being that honest with you. Get out of here. Are you asking your female friends anyway? Your female friends are going to be just like you, old and fat and bitter and lonely. We tend to be friends with people that are just like us. So her friends are going to tell her exactly what she's been telling herself. Of course. She also believes that the changing attitudes of dating haven't helped either, especially with the ease of which someone can find a potential suitor. Well, doesn't that contradict your arguments? Because if it's easy to find a potential suitor, why don't you have one? That statement makes no sense. She's holding two contrary beliefs at the same time. So I can't find a suitor because it's difficult to find suitors, but I can't find a suitor because it's easy to find suitors. What? So essentially she's saying it's easy for everybody else to find suitors, and then those people are stealing away all the men, and then there's no suitors left. But that would mean it's difficult to find them. What? Lady, you're not making any fucking sense. Generally, it's the physical side that men would want. Yeah. That's men. What is this broad thinking? Generally, it's the physical. That's what men want. You have nothing to offer. I mean, if you make good money, and maybe you do, you're spending 30,000 pounds over a 4-year period, maybe you should just find yourself like a loser, you know? Like in America, those guys that spend their time, like in California, riding the surfboard, and then they come home and do nothing all day, but they're hot-looking guys or something. You could be like one of those women that has a kept man. You could do that. Get yourself a kept man. And he's with you because you've got money. There's guys like that out there. We call them mimbos. Jerry Seinfeld labeled them mimbos. He's a mimbo. A male bimbo. They exist. Why don't you get one of those? Oh, no, that's beneath me. Well, not really, honey. Have you looked in the mirror? Woo! But with me, I tend to go with my gut. Well, you've certainly got enough of that gut. So, yeah, you go with your gut. Jesus Christ, I'll bet you do, honey. Look at the size of you. Instinct, and you read into that very quickly and step back from that. Yeah. Women that go with their guts are idiots, okay? You don't go with your gut. You don't make decisions at your age based on feelings. You don't have the physical attractiveness. Your sexual marketplace value is about a 1. In fact, I think maybe it's a 0. I think she has 0 marketplace value. Does she look like she's at least 50 to you guys? I mean, 50-year-old broads that are fat and overweight. I mean, yeah, there might be some hot-looking cougars out there in California who've had shitloads of plastic surgery and go to the gym 2 hours a day and might be bangable for a young guy who certainly wouldn't date them, like openly go out with them, but he'd go over for a quick bang. That's about it. And there's very, 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 very few of those. But this broad clearly hasn't taken care of herself. She's a big fat slob. Her sexual marketplace value is at most a 0.5, maybe. I don't even think it's that high. I think it's a 0. She has 0 marketplace value, and she thinks she's going to get a man. You're not worth anything, honey. To a man, well, you see, you don't understand this, honey. There's certain things that women bring to the table that men want, and that has value. And there's a marketplace for that value that you bring. But if you don't bring any value, you're not going to get anything that's in greater value than you. It's very unlikely, unless you offer something that the other party wants, like a kept man, like a Mimbo would want. Like he's just some loser that doesn't want to work, and he doesn't mind banging a fat chick, because when you're at work, he can bang the hot chick. Think about it, honey. Think about it. Jeanette said, I've mulled this over in my head many times. I've asked friends and even some guys on dating sites. Yeah, they're not going to be honest with you either. They don't want to hurt your feelings. Some guy's not going to send you a message back when you ask him, why don't you want to date me? He's not going to say, because you're a big, fat slob. No, he's just going to say, I'm not looking for anybody right now. He's going to give you some excuse, okay? He's not going to want to hurt your feelings. I've given them a short spiel on dating sites, and they say nothing is wrong with you. You think they're being honest. You're just believing what they're saying because you want to believe what they're saying, you dummy. There are just people on the dating sites who are broken, like you. Honey, you're broken. You are damaged goods. That's another problem. You've been married twice. Even if you could find some guy out there that was desperate enough and who had low self-esteem that he would be with someone like you, you're damaged goods. I don't want to be with you. You've been divorced twice. You're an angry, bitter feminist because all UK women are feminists. And generally fat, too. They've had problems. You, honey, you're projecting now. You're talking about yourself, okay? You don't even know it. You're not going to be the same after divorce. You're going to have a certain amount of baggage. Yet that's you, and we don't want baggage. Who wants baggage? I don't want baggage. You are baggage. You're the size of... Oh, Jesus Christ, you're bigger than baggage. Look at this chick. She's huge. She looks like a giant bag. No waist. Barrel-sized torso, I'm sure. Good God. Look at it. Ugh, horrible. Oh, we'll see some more horrid pictures of this woman. Some viewers watching at home disagree with the singleton as they shared their own honest thoughts about why she has yet to find a man. It's the fringe, darling, so 70s. This is just some fat woman talking, I'm sure. She's a bit boring. Maybe that's where she's going wrong, suggested another. Yeah, okay. Yeah, take a look at this woman. And, of course, nobody was honest with her. And if there were men that were honest, a news site that posted this story did not post their tweets. Yeah, there's some tweets below. I'm not going to show them. It's just some fellow fat women essentially agreeing with her and telling her, you're beautiful. You go, girl. As fat women are wont to do with other fat women. Jeanette appeared on This Morning to talk about her failed attempts at dating. She thinks it has something to do with them in Ramsgate. Yes, she is delusional. She is delusional. La, 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 la. This chick, let me tell you something, honey. And this is a perfect example of how women lack critical thinking skills. If she had a brain, she would look down at her big fat ass and say, oh, men care about looks. I'm a fat pig, and I'm 50 or older. That's why I can't find a man. It's time to hit the gym. Oh, but that doesn't cross her mind because that's difficult. Let's just spend more money. Yeah, spend money on a gym, sweetheart. Go buy some fucking weights or something. I would think spending 30,000 pounds, you could lose that weight. You could lose that big fat ass of yours. That would get you a man quicker than all these fucking dating sites and crying on TV about how you can't find a man. You really think there's a man out there who's going to want you now? I mean, you've just put your big fat face on TV and whined and moaned and groaned and talked about very delusionally how you can't find a man. Yeah, no man wants you now. negative.
Yeah.
What are you spending 30,000 quid on?
Well, it can be clothes, it can be the travel, it can be actually on the dating sites because they're not cheap.
You just pay membership sometimes.
Exactly, and sometimes even the ones that you don't have to pay for have got like add-ons. You know, if you want to be featured for half an hour, that's at least £5.
Do you not think maybe that shows you too willing, too enthusiastic? They see you coming, they see you as a soft touch.
Yeah, sometimes you do, but you've got to put yourself out there.
Oh, she's out there, all right. I don't think she could not be out there. She's put her. There's no way this broad could not be out there. Ay, ay, ay. So what do you think, guys? Is she your typical woman, delusional to the core, totally lacking in self-awareness and the ability to use critical thinking to the point where she has no clue what the problem is? Let me know in the comments section. I am the MGTOW philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.